So this is the Inmotion Climber. What we need to do first, we need to test it, test out the braking, the performance overall, and then a little bit later in the video I'll give it a complete breakdown on my overall opinion. But definitely watch this video, because this could be the scooter that you've always wanted. Well, here we go. Whoa! Top gear, sport mode, about 85% charge. The acceleration is actually really impressive. Hill here. Wow. The hill, it's eating up the hill. Speed is being maintained. That is exactly what I've wanted for so long. That is actually really impressive. So you have, I'll talk about things in a bit more detail in a few minutes. We'll do another hill test now in a second. But you do have 750 watt motor in the front and in the rear, okay? So total peak power is actually 1500 watts. Now I have to say, that is something else. I absolutely love the scooter already. There's a hill up here. Good thing as well is you have zero start if you want. You can enable this through the app. Look how nimble this scooter is. The 10-inch pneumatic tyres with a really good side tread. They're actually a very good tyre. Also come with a thicker inner tube. Top speed I'm getting right now is 38 kilometers per hour, which is really nice. It's such a nice scooter. The deck is huge on this. Just take a look. I mean, you have so much space there. And the comfort level is really nice. You don't have suspension, but that doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me one bit. Okay, so the hill in front of me, can't see it on camera, but it's around 15 degrees, give or take. We'll do zero start. This scooter should climb this no problem at all. Let's go. Zero start, didn't even kick it. Small bit of a wheel spin actually. Yeah, look at that. This truly is a climber. Inmotion say it climbs hills with ease, and the speed just keeps going. Nice. It does have mechanical disc braking in the rear. You also have basically regenerative braking coming from the front and the rear motor. You can also turn this to a lower setting or a higher setting in the app, wherever you want. It's totally up to you. Let me just check the... I'm not even jamming on the brake there. Absolutely fantastic. Let's do that hill test in one more time. Let's go. Bit steeper on this side. Wow. Acceleration is really impressive coming from this climber. And the speed is like we're going 30 kilometers an hour going up a hill. 32, 33. It just keeps going. Finally. I'm keeping this scooter. This is going to be my own personal commuter scooter. Handlebar width is actually not too bad. It's absolutely fine for a scooter of this speed and spec. Grips, look at the braking on this. Whoa, they're really good braking. Grips on this are actually quite thick, but they're very comfortable as well. They're not so narrow, so vibrations coming through the scooter, it actually softens the impact on your hands. Let's have a look at the acceleration. Okay, zero start. Let's see how fast it takes. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 seconds to get to the top speed of 38 kilometers per hour. And keep in mind, the battery on this is actually 80%. I didn't even charge this fully. But oh my god, this is nimble. It has the power, it has the braking, it has the extreme build quality that I'll talk about in just a few minutes. But let's just enjoy the ride for now. And yes, I have reviewed many electric scooters over the past few years, but I've always wanted something that literally has an all-in-one solution for people like me that live in a country where it rains a lot. So I will explain that in a minute or two. The first gear, which is, it also has walk mode, which is actually really good. So it has walk mode as well. So it's actually quite good. You don't have to push the scooter, for example, if you're in a pedestrian area, which is actually really nice. Another good thing as well, if you live in a country where it's speed restricted, you can actually just go into the Inmotion app and just put the speed at wherever you want. So you have that kind of customization there as well. The app also has a diagnostics feature. It diagnoses the scooter, lets you know if there's anything wrong. And of course you have direct contact from Inmotion as well through the app if you ever have a query or a question. One of the really nice things, you can't hear this on camera, but the sound coming from the motors is like a really nice smooth sound. When I mean it's not too noisy to the point where it annoys you, it's so perfect the way they have this dialed in on this scooter. The stem, nice quality, no wobbling, no rattling at all. Thumb throttle, my favourite of all. Thumb throttles 100% all the way. I can't explain to you actually how happy I am to have a scooter like this finally in my life. I really can't. Yeah, I've had huge scooters, huge spec, huge batteries, crazy speeds, but they don't have the portability factor, whereas a scooter like this does. But I gotta say, the motors are fantastic. And the question you might be thinking, can you just use single motor? No, you can't. This is just a dual motor scooter all of the time. So you cannot like disable one motor, for example, from the front to the rear or whatever the case is. So yeah, it's strictly dual motor only. But the battery on this is a 36 volt 14.4 amp hour battery. So you actually have a range of up to 56 kilometers on this. A good thing as well is this scooter, because it looks like an ordinary scooter like a Xiaomi M365, you actually don't attract a lot of attention. Oh, those motors are so smooth. Whoa, I mean, they are like buttery smooth. Absolutely love them. By the way, this is my first Inmotion scooter to actually ever have. I haven't never had an Inmotion scooter on the channel, and I'm already in love with this. Yeah, this is it. This is the scooter for me. It really is. This is the perfect commuter scooter, A to B. One of the bells that I love is actually these small finger bells. You don't have to play around if you have the electronic brake, and sometimes you need to find them on some scooters. So on this here, you simply just use your finger bell. It's simple, it's not too loud, it's not too in people's faces. It does the job that it's meant to actually do. Enough riding the Inmotion Climber. Let's talk about this scooter in depth. This is the Inmotion Climber that I got from One Ride. Now before I go into detail, I want to explain something. I've worked with many companies over the past few years, and One Ride have basically been the best company. Why? Because of their customer service and literally their reliability. They are based in Europe. They stock scooters, but they primarily stock also EUCs, literally of every brand possible. And not only do they send you a product which is really fast, whether that be a scooter or an EUC, they take it out of the box, they charge it, they update the firmware if it needs, so they double check it. But on top of that, they send you a video prior to them sending you the product that you actually ordered from them. I'm going to leave their website below and a discount code if I do have one. So definitely go and have a look at them. And don't be afraid to text them or email them through their site, because they get back to you quite fast. Hands down, I would recommend them for literally anything at all. So what's so special about the Inmotion Climber? Well, let's talk about the specs of this for a second. You have 750 watt motor in the front and a 750 watt motor in the back. And just take a look at the frame on the Inmotion. It looks very similar to the Xiaomi M365 Pro electric scooter range. And that's quite a good thing. But this is 10 times better than the Xiaomi electric scooters. Let me explain why. What's the problem with a lot of electric scooters nowadays that are under the €1,000 mark? Well, they only have one motor. Most of them, around 90% of them, only have one motor. And because this has 750 watt motor in the front and the rear, that is a peak output of 1500 watts. And as you can see from my first ride video on this climbs hills, it destroys them. The speed keeps going up. There is literally no delay on this electric scooter. It's on top of the list. It's one of those scooters that's like on top of the list, but it's even up higher, and I'll explain why in a second. One struggle that has always been of a lot of electric scooters that have two motors is actually the weight, and it has bothered me a lot. But on this, yes, you have a motor in the front and the rear. It has a 36 volt 14.4 amp hour battery with a range of up to 56 kilometers. A top speed on this, as you saw, of 38 kilometers per hour. And all of that, well, it's still lightweight. This is only just over 20 kilograms. That makes it on top of the list again. It's really outstanding. And of course, folding this, if you're using this to get on and off public transport, look how quick that is. You just pop that there, pop it on the back. I mean, this is fantastic. I cannot explain how happy I am to finally have a scooter that has so far ticked all the boxes, but this isn't the best feature of the Inmotion Climber. Well, what's always been the main struggle of a lot of electric scooters out there, particularly for those people that live in rainy countries like myself, it is of course the IP rating. Nearly 90% of electric scooters out there are only IP54, which is okay for light rain, but even at that, I wouldn't even recommend it. What does the Inmotion Climber have? The body of the Inmotion is IP56, which means even in torrential rain downpours coming from every direction possible, this scooter should be absolutely fine. I don't recommend riding in the rain, but what I'm saying is if you're coming home from work or coming home from a trip, wherever the case is, you wouldn't really have to worry about anything. But on top of that, the battery, yes, the battery on this climber is IPX7. What does that even mean? That means it can be submerged underwater for up to 30 minutes. Up to 30 minutes. That's how premium of quality Inmotion make their EUCs and their scooters. That is why I love this scooter. You have the power. It climbs hills. You have regenerative braking. You have an Inmotion app that you can tailor. It has a self-diagnostics feature. It also has that fantastic IP rating. It has good light and good power. It has the comfortability factor. And when it comes to obviously that comfortability factor, the deck on this is actually probably the biggest I've ever had on an electric scooter. So really, no matter what size feet you have, you're not going to have a problem on this. Of course, coming up on top, you have these really huge grips that are very soft to the touch, but provide really good comfort. You have a fantastic finger bell here, your standard mechanical disc brake, which is this one here, which is really nice. And to change modes, you simply just double tap your button. You go on to walk mode, drive mode, or sport mode. You also have the favorite thumb throttle that I absolutely love. You have a spring loaded point here that actually attaches on the back of the electric scooter, which is really nice to see. Very good folding mechanism. Of course, your motors front and rear. Kickstand is standard, but it does the job. Deck space is huge, like what I mentioned, but it's a rubber material, so actually very, very easy to clean. Mudguard is actually quite sturdy at the back, no rattling, no wobbling, no noise whatsoever. It also has the mudguard supports here on the side. And of course, the top feature, one of the other top features of this Inmotion Climber is that the motors on this electric scooter are actually a split rim design. So in other words, if you get a puncture, you see those screws just going around, you take them screws off, it's a split rim, you pop in your new tube or your tire, whatever the case is. But the tires that actually come with the Inmotion Climber are actually a thicker tire as well, so the likelihood of getting a puncture is slim. Pressure on these wheels should be about 50 psi maximum, But basically, if you get a puncture, you should be able to change it quite fast compared to the traditional electric scooters that are actually out there. So it ticks the boxes in every single way possible. So let's do a brief overview before I give you my verdict on this. It has the portability, it's lightweight, it has the speed, it has the power from the motors to climb the hills. It also has really good braking, it has app control, customizable also. And you might be saying, well, it doesn't have suspension. To be honest, it doesn't need suspension. It has 10-inch pneumatic tyres that are actually really good quality. Of course, you can't take this off-road. It's not that type of scooter. This is an A to B type of electric scooter that will get you to where you ever need to be. The price tag. Yes, the price tag of this climber can kind of vary wherever country you're living in. I will do research and I will post the websites below that give the best prices, but this can be around 1,000 less. Some websites actually have this retail for 650 euros. Yeah, you heard me right. I'm telling you now, you cannot get a scooter of this spec with this premium build quality with the fantastic IP rating for that price. And this scooter is pretty much for anybody looking to go from A to B with peace of mind in those countries where it rains a lot and you have so many problems. This is going to be my personal scooter that I'm going to hang on to for literally indefinitely. It's not going anywhere. I'm keeping it. I will probably do a range test on it at some point. But so far, it ticks every single box. It double ticks every single box. It's on top of the list up there. It really is. I'm so happy and grateful to actually have an Inmotion scooter finally in my own possession. Please do give this video a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next video.